Hey everybody, welcome to TPG's World and another edition of TPG Reviews. Now as you know, today is the 19th of July, which means it is the release date of the live-action Lion King, Disney's Lion King. And that's exactly what I'm going to review and talk about today. So as you know, I am a gigantic Disney fan. I love Walt Disney movies. I love everything Disney. I have several of them that I like. But I have to say Lion King is definitely like in my top one. Like, Lion King is Lion King. It was the cartoon version that came out back in the 90s, just touched my soul, and I love it. And I think my favorite Disney song to date is I Just Can't Wait to Be King. I sing it all the time. I use quotes from it all the time. I just absolutely love that song. So let's get right into it and talk about the live action Lion King. Now as you see, there's a picture of it. This is the CD that also was released today. There's not many songs on it, it's mostly instrumental, but it's still very good. But yeah, let's dive right in and talk about it versus the real one. First of all, I'll show you all some pictures. This is a picture of baby Simba and Zazu. I loved him, and that's a picture of his father, Mufasa, and baby Simba there. So, alright, first of all, as you know, if you've ever seen The Lion King, you pretty much know the story, and I don't want to do a lot of spoilers, so I'm going to kind of just talk about the new one. Okay, first of all, this movie is visually stunning. It is so beautiful. And I know I have a lot of naysayer friends going, but it's not live, it's CGI, man. Yeah, you're not going to make a lion talk. We know it's CGI. We get it. But the point is that it is beautiful, and it is so well done and realistic that you really forget that it is a CGI lion that you're watching, or a CGI tiger, or a CGI hyena, or whatever it is that you're watching, because it is so stunning. And I think that the cartoon version is utterly a classic, don't get me wrong, but I think the live action version makes it even more amazing, because you feel them. Like when you first see them hold Simba up on the rock and they're singing Circle of Life, you just fall in love with baby Simba, and he's so cute. And not that he wasn't cute in the cartoon, because he was, but he was a cartoon. This is like a little real, well, sort of real, baby lion running around, and you just go, he's so cute, he's so cute. So compared to the cartoon, it is just as good. It follows the story really well. There's like one or two maybe tiny little differences, but other than that, it is pretty accurate to the cartoon. It is brilliantly done. It is beautifully directed, beautifully voiced by all of the actors, and we're going to talk some about that. But first of all, I was ecstatic that James Earl Jones came back to play Mufasa. There is no one else's voice who could be Mufasa to this day. I love when they go, Mufasa! He is just, his voice is amazing, and he did it so well in this one. A little bit different. It's not quite as pronounced as it is, I think, in the cartoon, but you still know it's him, and you still get the point of how amazing Mufasa is as a character, and he still sends chills up my arms just talking about it. Him as Mufasa is very amazing. Now, of course, this time Sarabi, which is Simba's mother, is voiced by one of my favorite actresses, Alfre Woodward, and she's so good. She's got such an amazing acting ability anyway, but her voice is just so powerful as the mother, as Sarabi. She's brilliant. The guy who plays Scar is not Jeremy Irons, but I can't pronounce the guy's name, actually, and I feel bad. It's a really weird name, but he was really good as Scar. And compared to Aladdin, when I talked about I really didn't care for the villain, I did like his Scar. However, I think Jeremy Irons' voice was a little more menacing for the cartoon, but I think that was necessary for the cartoon because you had to have that. In this one, this guy has a presence. His voice has a demanding presence, almost like James Earl Jones, but not quite. When he sang Be Prepared, he didn't really sing much of it. He talked more of it. I thought that was probably the most disappointing part of it, if I had to say. It wasn't as close to the original song, but it wasn't horribly done. Don't get me wrong, because it was not horribly done at all. It's just different than the version in the movie. He was just, it was so different, but it's good. It's still very good the way they do it. But he is believable as Scar. He is just as horrifying of a character as Jeremy Irons was when he voiced it. It's just done a little bit different. So yeah, of course Beyonce plays Nala, and she's got this perfect voice for this character. I was a little concerned about seeing that, but I actually really loved her character as Nala. She has a beautiful song in it that plays in the background that she sings. And she's matched with Donald Glover, who plays the grown-up Simba, and he has he's got a hell of a voice. This man can sing his little butt off, and he was so good. And when it switches into him as the adult Simba, his voice fits so well, especially when he sings. When it was just brilliant. However, sometimes I think Beyonce tended to sing over everybody in the cast because she's Beyonce, but she did tend to sing a little bit more over everyone. At one point, all you hear is Beyonce. Timon and Pumbaa. Let's talk about Timon and Pumbaa. Now, I love Timon and Pumbaa. I love Nathan Lane, and I love Ernie Cimbello, who did the original. In the live-action version, they're replaced by Billy Eisner and Seth Rogen. Now, I'm not a big fan of Seth Rogen. Billy Eisner, I've just started watching some of his stuff. He's just now getting very popular. But I must say this. Billy Eisner nails Timon. He's funny. He is so hysterical. He does not try to do it like Nathan Lane, which is what I loved about Will Smith as the genie, you know, in Aladdin, was that he did it his own way. And he's so funny. And I didn't know, but damn, he can really sing. He has such a great voice. Seth Rogen, I'm not a big fan of Seth as a person, but he did a good Pumbaa. I thought he had a perfect voice. His singing and one, you know, is kind of like it fits the character. I don't think he's a great singer, but I think it fits what you need for that character for sure. So their Hakuna Matata, which is another one of my favorite songs of all time. I sing that a lot of times at school, like when I'm stressed or something. I'll just start humming it. They did a really good job with that, and I loved it. And I think they really played it out. It was fun. It was cute to watch. And every scene that these two guys are in, I think they totally steal it. I think they were perfectly cast in these roles. And I was a little concerned because Timon and Pumbaa are two of my favorite Disney characters of all time, and they really did do a great job in this. Now, of course, let's talk about my favorite song. I Just Can't Wait to Be King. Now, I love that song. I do. I love the original. I sing it all the time. As I said, it's one of my songs. I hum all the time, and it's just one of my favorite songs to hum in real life. I just love it. And they did a good job with it in the movie, but the one thing is they try to recreate the cartoon exactly. So some parts you really, when the characters are singing, you can't really see their mouths moving because it's so busy with all the stuff around it, but they're trying to almost capture movement by movement of the original film. But I still liked it. It's still as fun and beboppy and happy as the original cartoon version. But like I said, I just thought it was a little bit busy. But I did like it, and I was so excited to see it. I couldn't wait for it. The very beginning, when it starts off with Circle of Life, it is just like the film, except it is beautiful. I love animals, and I love exotic animals like elephants and zebras and giraffes and orangutans and gorillas and tigers and lions, all of that stuff. And to see them on the screen live was just, I was spellbound. I was like, I was so amazingly spellbound. And I think it had me really in its hand because it was live action. And I know a lot of people aren't really liking these live action films, and a lot of people are trashing these live action films. But I feel like live action is a little more believable to me than cartoons. Not that I don't mind the Disney cartoons. I do. I love them all, and I've seen many of them. I'm not excited about Mulan coming out because Mulan is my least favorite Disney film, so I don't know if I will. I probably will skip the live action Mulan till it comes out on DVD. But as far as they go, I've loved them all so far. But I think that, you know, the bringing them to life in live action, I think it does make the stories a little more believable, especially for adults, because a lot of adults, you know, they don't watch cartoons as much as, you know, little kids do. And, you know, people put in cartoons for their kids, and they don't really pay attention as much to the cartoons. And I think that the live action brings so much to the film, especially like in this one, because the background is so beautiful. When you see the water and the mountains and the rain and the jungle that they live in, and the area, and Pride Rock, all of it comes to life. Real life. It's not drawn. It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful scenery. You feel like you're right there in Africa with these characters. And I really do, guys. I really think you should go see the live action Lion King. It, like Aladdin, is one you definitely need to see on the big screen to get the full effect of it. I was not disappointed in anything in it. Like I said, there was a few differences and a few things I thought, oh, but I was very, very excited to see it. It lived up to my expectations. I mean, visually, guys, it's beautiful. I mean, look at that. That looks like a real lion. I mean, that is beautiful. And that is Simba. I mean, it looks just like a real lion. It's just captivating. I mean, look at that. I mean, it looks so realistic. I mean, and it is realistic, even though it's done CGI or whatever. It's still beautiful. It's just well done. So, anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Check out Disney's Lion King on the big screen. You will not regret it. Remember, hating is a disease, and some folks need to get well soon. Okay, guys. Peace. Bye.